All right, folk. Oh, well, now we're on. We're just a little behind, but we're enjoying the socializing, and that is great. So good to see everyone and our visitors. Today is a very special day. You know, I was thinking about we've been studying Joshua, and Gary would make a good Joshua. But again, welcome to all and to our Bible study this morning. We've been looking forward to this day. It's always great to have Gary Jones and Cindy with us today. And Gary does a great job. And I was telling Gary this morning the challenge, of course, he's had that great challenge in India and has done a great job not only dealing with the government, but the COVID. I was headlines in one of the news things I was reading this morning about the COVID in India. Just they're short a lot of things, so let's please keep those people in mind. Again, Gary doesn't need an introduction to this church family. He was here for about 8 years, and so, you know, actually we can talk about we're starting our homecoming today with it too, as we look forward to celebrating our 50th anniversary, and that celebration is going to be in September, and we're looking forward to that. So, Gary, you're really kind of kicking us off with that too, brother. And so we're so happy to have Gary with us and get that report on the India work that this church family has supported, and we're so grateful for. Again, any special announcements or any one that we need to be mindful of? I know we have many that we need to keep in our prayers, but some ones that we may not be mindful of. Any new ones? How's Jerry doing? He'll be here. That's doing good, isn't it? So we're grateful for that. Any report on Mary Alice? Anyone?
I talked to Harry last Friday, and he said she has improved.
Has improved. That's great. Again, appreciate the prayers there.
How about Almeida?
Yeah.
Almeida's the joints are really, really hurting her and swollen and so forth, and she's not doing as well as she has been. So keep her in our prayers.
Good. Thank you so much. We have a beautiful day. We're looking forward to Gary, and as we look forward to our third Sunday family get-together today for lunch, and certainly everyone's invited to that. And again, as a church family, I notice the table's loading up, so we're in good shape from that standpoint. If you would, please pray with me. Father, we thank you for the beauty of the day and for your creation. And we're so grateful, Father, as we come together to learn more of your will for us this morning in our Bible study and to hear of the good work in India. And we're so grateful for that. And as we look forward to our worship today and to remember your gift of your Son and his death, burial, and resurrection. Be with us. Be with all of our good brothers and sisters. Be with our good brothers and sisters in India. Watch over them. Keep them safe. In your Son's name, amen. Gary, welcome.
Thank you, brother. Good morning. Let me first make sure my clicker's going to work. It's working. Cindy and I always feel like we're coming home when we come back to Monroe. We have so much history here. Over the years, we thought about the different congregations we've been at since Monroe, places like Valdosta, and then up in Knoxville, Tennessee, Clinton, Tennessee, and I believe that might have been the other 3 works I was involved in before I went full-time in the mission work. But this has always, in our hearts, probably been our home, right, Cindy? We had our first home here. I enjoyed teaching at the Monroe Comprehensive High School for 5 years, and it was just a wonderful time here. And we made the trip to Valdosta to preach. We always wondered maybe we should have stayed back at Monroe because we have so much closeness with so many of you. And thank you for your work with me and our work in India. I always say it's our work. I couldn't be there without you, without many congregations and people involved with this 1.3, 1.4 billion people who live in India. And when you pass 1 out of 6 people in the world, you'll be passing an Indian in this world. That's how populated they are on the earth. The largest legal minority in this country now is the Indian minority in the USA. So, our work over there comes over here as we work with people, and they come and migrate here, become doctors, engineers, or whatever they come to be trained for. They become part of our work. So, always I have more slides than I can show, but I'm trying to stay right in line today as we go through this. It's been 2 years, a little bit more since I've been here, and we've shortened the pandemic. This is only the second congregation. Last week was the first one in Franklin County where I could be live. For this, I had to do a lot of Zooming, and so it's good not to Zoom, just to be here today and be able to talk to you. And if you're watching us from outside, from your homes, thank you for watching, and hopefully the slides will give you an idea of what we're talking about today. And let me just share your slides and go and do with this. And the Bible tells us to be doers of the Word. And I look at this congregation, and I look at our work in India, and I know you do many other things. That this congregation is a congregation that's a doer of the Word. We can preach it, talk about it, see examples of it, but God says for us to be doers. When you see something good to do, you do that. When you see someone that needs to be fed, you feed them. Someone that needs to be clothed, you clothe them. Someone that needs the gospel, you preach to them. And this good congregation has always been involved in those activities, and I appreciate that so much. I want to spend most of my time talking about really our primary work in India. I've been over there for, full-time 13 years now, and you've been with me, I think, almost every step of the way. And we do many activities in there. I can't talk about them all today. We do much medical work, much midwife training, much food relief, much training of preachers and preaching schools and sending them out to preach. But one of the big things that we've done is to establish the Theophilus English Medium Christian School. Probably 2008 was the first year of that school, and Assam, since we are rebuilt and moved to Arunachal Pradesh, we thought would give us a little more leeway with the government, but it's not happening. We have much problems with the government now. They're trying their very best to stop Christian works in India. They're trying to revoke the visas. I have a business visa, and I have a foundation in India, which gives me some protection, but not a lot. Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister, just a few weeks ago, I was there on Republic Day, and he was giving a speech in Delhi. And on a platform with millions of people watching him on television in India and around the world, he said that the only big problem wrong with India, and he stopped, he said Christianity. Christians are the problem in India. But we're not the problem. We're the cure. We're the ones with the gospel. We do no evil to nobody. We go to India to do good and to preach the pure gospel of Jesus Christ of salvation. So Mr. Modi is wrong in his objections of Christians and his persecution. So I pray that you'll help us to stop those who are dying. And people are dying weekly now in India, mainly Hindus who converted to Christianity. If they will not get down on their knees, recant Christ, and affirm Krishna or one of the gods, then they will either be hacked to death with the machetes, ran away from their home, their houses burned to live into the jungles. But this is happening all over India. And India is just one of the countries in the world. Today, Christianity is the most persecuted religion on the face of the earth. And so we need to be praying for our brothers and sisters, that they be strong unto death, that the government will release them and give them the opportunity to practice freely what's in their constitution. They have the British Constitution, just like we have the British Constitution, which guarantees the freedom of religion in India. But as we see, even in this country, sometimes what's written in our Constitution is not followed by people. But let's look at the English medium school. Let me back up. What you're seeing here very quickly are the walls that go around the school. The schools in India are required to be walled in for the safety of the kids, and particularly in my area when you have 18 terrorist groups that operate in the area. And you see the walls that's been painted. They do a great job. A lot of these walls are painted by my kids. I've got several artistic boys and girls who can paint very good, but these are just some pictures of the wall that surrounds our school. And share some pictures of the school. The school's so big, there's no way I can back away and give you a picture of the whole thing without getting in an airplane, and there's no airplanes in that area that I can get on. But you can see how large the school is, the running in the back, and on the right slide there you see the new second floor that we just completed, and now we're putting a science lab in there, and the new school year begins the first week in June. We're sitting for our fourth quarter exams next week take a 2 weeks break, and then hopefully get back on track. Just a month ago, we finally got CBSE certified, which is the highest certification a school can have, all the way through class 12. Right now we're going through class 10, but probably in a year or two we'll go through class 12. Class 11 and 12 is considered college in India. Your high school education is over with at class 10. So we are trying now to get them through the high school and then add the first 2 years of college. This is just some pictures. I wanted you to look over the roof of one of the school buildings, and you can sort of see Jacob's Hostel, where the boys live, way back in the back. Right now I have about 90 boys in that hostel. I can have 140, and I actually have another 50 boys wanting to come. They're on my waiting list to get into school. So I believe we will fill all our hostels up come June, and it will be my school will be full. And that's good news for the work that we want to do, and that is to make India an Indian work with no American dollars going there. I hope in 2 years that your money can be put to another good work somewhere. I'm looking at one in the Caribbean I'll talk to you about later on. Here's the front of the school, a part of the front of the school where the kids assemble. This is right after the pandemic. We started school back in August, even though the government said don't. But since we're locked down in our dormitories, we took school on our campus, not too much objection. But you can see the 2 stories of the school there, kids lined up there. And this is the best picture I can give you. One of my students made this as a model for a project in one of his classes. But that's sort of the overall cardboard picture of the Theopolis English Medium Christian School. And the kids do a great job there learning. A lot of them come there knowing only Hindu. They learn English very quickly. And we are fully English medium school. They must speak, not my English, they will never learn Southern English, okay? But mainly they learn British English, or they learn proper Northern English. And they do a good job. Here's some. These are some of the children that you supported for years. There's Muna Millie. I think you see him. I see some of that. This is our new lab being built right now, and you can see how modern we're making our lab. Our school really is the best school probably within 100 miles. And so people with government people have the money in this country. It's a socialistic country, and the government people want their kids in my school. They may be fully Hindu. They know their children are going to have Bible first class of every day and devotions at night, but they want their kids in my school. And that's good because they pay top salary for the tuitions that we charge, and this will fund the school for about 50 orphan children that I will always keep in the school. Just some classroom pictures that you might see. These are large classrooms. We have all modern furniture that we ordered out of Goa. And we only allow 25 per classroom. If you're in preschool, no more than 8. So we keep our numbers low. Our teachers are highly certified. Many of them have masters. Our principal has 2 masters. And so we're a school that attracts people. And that's what we have to do to make this work sufficient and continue to grow the church. Here's 3 of my students who painted the walls that they're standing in front of on the outside of our school. They're very good little artists there. You see Sophiana, Ati Moses there, and Shunabo. We just started this class last quarter. We have vocational skills that we teach the boys. Once they get through class 8, if they do not want to continue academic, they will still take math and science and Hindi and English for the morning, but in the evening they're trained in carpentry, masonry, electrical, plumbing, small engine repair, cell phone repair, which is a big business in India. And the girls learn sewing. This is our first sewing class with new sewing machines and things, and they're very good at learning that. And this is a class, when they go in, they don't want to leave. And it's the last class of the day. They'll just keep going for another hour, keep sewing and learning. So it's a good class for the girls to be a part of. So you can just see some pictures of this sewing class. Shimadu, who's also oversees the girls' hostel, teaches sewing. And that bottom left sewing machine is the very first electric sewing machine that's ever been brought on the property. The sewing machines we have are the foot pedal ones. You don't need no electricity, you just need 2 feet. Or I can do it with 1 foot and a cane, I'm not sure. But they are very good at what they learn to sew. This is our Bible class being taught there in the school. I show this slide because of this young man. His name is Roshan. He came to me when he was 7 or 8 years old, along with a brother named Aimson. And he's gone through my system. He's gone home to Manipur, then he's come back to me. And he has studied World Video Bible School through 2 times completely every book. He's so knowledgeable because he's been with me so long. And now he runs our entire Bible program. And this little boy, 18 years old probably right now, but his knowledge, his skills of teaching is so good. So it's good that we see kids who come as orphans, and then they grow up to stay and work for us. And that's what we want to happen in that school. My goal is that the school one day will be run by nothing but the children that we brought up in the Lord. And that's what we want to happen. He's doing a fantastic job. We begin our day every morning at school at 7:30 with Devo. This is not the teaching staff. This is my working staff and my principal, Delina, you see sitting at the far end of the table. She is the heart and soul of the school. Very good Christian young woman. And she really runs the school very, very good. Here's some just pictures of the kids I wanted you to see, different slides. See the young man in the suit. He's now in college in Guwahati Downtown University. He's in his second year, and he's actually studying to be a lab. It's more than a lab tech. He'll actually be able to open his own lab when he gets his degree. And he's been with me since he was probably 10 years old, and now he's 19 years old. So we're making a difference getting these children, bringing them, teaching them about Christ, and then bringing them up where they know enough to go to college and get a degree. And hopefully in some way he'll be assistance to us in the future. The little baby there, she was just born maybe 6 months ago, I guess. But she's one of my staff's children who oversees the boys' dormitory. And they wanted to name this little girl after me. I said, my name is Gary Lewis Jones. How you going to get a girl's name out of that? Well, they said Garrisa, Garcia. I just call her Greasy and let it go at that. And just let it go at that. She's a cute little girl and a good little baby. Here's 3 of my blind girls. We have 12 blind children that we teach. We have a visually handicapped trained blind teacher. And these little girls have been with me a long, long time now, maybe 6, 7 years. 2 of them were found in a garbage dump in the city of Patna in Bihar, where someone just threw them away, and someone heard them crying, got them out of the dump, took them to a local Catholic church, who called me and asked me could I take these children, and of course I could. And so they've been with me a long time. I hope that some way we'll be able to give them a good life, where they might can go into the city with the skills necessary to find a job and be able to support themselves in the future. Just different pictures. This is Jacob's Hostel. This is where the boys live. And again, we have about, I think 90 right at this moment, maybe close to 100 now. And just some pictures of them walking on the foyer of the room. And they all have chores to do. On the bottom, they're over at the girls' village digging up stumps. We have huge gardens, but we still have big stumps in the ground that have to be digged out. We don't have any kind of big machine or grinders, so we have to use shovels, picks, and hacksaws and to try to dig these things up. So these boys and girls are supported by this congregation. I believe there's 8 children supported by all of you, and I thank you so much because it makes such a difference in their life. Jack's a good little boy. Rakesh has been with me a long time. I have him and his twin sister, Raki, and I got them maybe 10 years ago. Their father was an elephant driver, and he was laying on the side of the road taking a nap, and his poor elephant just accidentally put his foot on his head. And you just think of a watermelon, that's not a good thought. But he died instantly, and the 2 children were brought to me, and so they've always been with me, and they see me as Papa. I'm the only one they will ever know. Jobosa is supported here. All these kids I'm showing you are supported by this congregation. Here's a family. These 2 children were just brought to me maybe 6 or 7 months ago. They're Chakma, and they live 10 kilometers away from my school. And so they're always bringing these poor children, seeing if I can help them. And if I can, I help them. And this man is dying. He's the father. And the mother is very, very sick. They know that they will not live long enough to take care of these kids. And you see how poor they are. And they're living in a rundown bamboo hut with a straw roof, with plastic over a leaking straw roof, and they have no hope for the future. So I take children like that. These children will always be in my school, and you see once they get their uniforms and get cleaned up and get started to school, they really have a changed life. It just totally changes for them, and that's good for them. Oops, let me back up. Here's the boys' hostel. I have 2 hostels, one for smaller boys, age 11 and under, then 12 above. This is a small one, but you see how many beds I have in there and bunk beds in there. I can put another probably 30 children in this section of the hostel, which we will have done by June. My concern was when I went into the bathroom, all the toothbrushes, who knows whose toothbrush belongs to who? I guess you just go in and grab one and start brushing, but probably got to come up with a better system with COVID-19 or something like that. Here's some of our boys. They're wearing pajama bottoms that were made by a congregation here 2 or 3 years ago, and so they enjoy the clothes we send to them. I'm going to do one more shipment. I keep saying every time, no more. This is my last shipment because it's such a problem in Calcutta in the port systems, particularly now that you can't bring nothing Christian. Last shipment 2 years ago, they went through every crate, took out every religious book, and threw them away. They went through every crate. They took out every history book and geography book that might show a map of India, and they threw it away. Because India draws their map one way, China draws their map another way. And China says they own about 1/3 of India. And after they get through taking Hong Kong and Taiwan, I'm afraid that Arunachal, where I'm at now, may become their next target. But, it doesn't matter what government we're under. We'll just continue to do what we're doing. But just many boys. Here's our Devo. We have Devo every night. The older boys have been baptized. They rotate teaching our Devo. They become very good at this, very good speakers, leading, singing. And so they become very much part of our worship on Sunday morning. Here's part of their carpentry skills, vocational skills. So they use American tools that we collect and send over. About 2 years ago, I sent most of these you see here. We have to have a separate plug-in because they run on 240 power. We run on 110. So if you take one of our plug-ins and machines and plug it into them, it'll just poof. So we have to have a reducer for everything we use, but we have plenty of them. And these boys are very good at carpentry and very good at masonry. We build lots of cement walls. Right now we're building our new building, our biggest building, 120 feet by 180 feet, and that will hold 500 people. We need that for the school because this fall we'll have about 350 people. 380 with my teachers, and we all come together for church and Devo and for assemblies. And so this building we're building now will be both our worship facility and our multi-purpose facility for the school. I keep going too fast. Go back. Yeah, just again some carpentry pictures. You see the wood there? Our wood comes from the local sawmill. That's teak wood. Teak wood is so expensive. It's illegal to take that wood to this country. You can get teak in here, but it has to go through a very special process, be taxed by our government and approved by our government before you can bring teak into this country. But there it just grows everywhere in the jungle. And so we do a lot of teak work in building our desks and chairs and things of that nature. These two little boys, well, I just got them maybe 9 weeks ago when I was over there, and they're Chocmaw. Their dad and mom, they lived in a little village bamboo hut, mud floor. That's most of the houses there. But you have a gumbroy. A gumbroy would be like we call, I guess, a mayor. He's over everything that happens in that village. He has complete power. He has the power of life and death in his village. They don't call the police. They don't call the army. They don't try to file some kind of report and turn it in. The gumbroy, who has no education usually, but by tradition and by family inheritance, he becomes over the village. And these little boys had a father there that someone in the village accused of having drugs on him. And of course, drugs grow like crazy in the jungles, not the drugs, but the poppy flowers and things like that is a huge problem where I'm at. My jungle flows right into Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, all that comes together. Anyway, they brought him in the middle of the village, brought his two little boys out and brought his wife out, and they had to sit there and watch them beat their father to death until they killed him with sticks. And you can imagine the shock these two little boys was in. They immediately took the two little boys away and took them over to the other side of the river. And the man of the Church of Christ there asked for them and brought them to me. What happened to the mother? I'm not sure what they've done to the mother. I'm concerned about her. But look at their picture. They're so sad. They've lost their whole life in one day. They lost their father. They lost their mother. They lost their home. And here they're now sitting at my village. Not one word of English, so no one here can talk to them yet. And they have our clothes on that we've taken out of the crates to give them something clean to wear. But you see how sad and what's in their eyes. Where am I? What is this? What's happening to me? But within 3 or 4 weeks, these boys will adjust, be in our school, learning English, and learn the boys, be playing the games. Marbles is their number one game over there besides football. And so these children, the type of children we help, and we can make such a difference. And there's so many of them that try to come our way. This is our Rainbow Village here. Back at Rainbow Village. This is a girls' dormitory. It used to be the girls' orphanage until we converted to a school. And I guess I still have at least 50 girls who are orphan girls. That's been with me a long time. Here's a picture of Rainbow Village. Most of that is built out of teak. You cannot imagine building a teak house in the United States. It would be worth a fortune. But there, we just have the lumber cut, go to the sawmill, and then we build. We can put 120 people in that one building right there. And so that's the village. Here's some of the pictures. These are some of my older girls. Not all of them, but some of them. I think I have 25 teenage girls now at different ages of 13 to 18. My oldest daughter that stays and helps me there is 22. So they're growing up and becoming part of our work. This Obi's is adopted by one of you good families here. I just appreciate she's a sweetest little child and growing up. Malidu, I think Butch and Sheila has Malidu. I'll put her picture up here. And just all of these are adopted here by the good congregation here at Monroe. And I just appreciate you helping me take care of these children. Now, she doesn't belong to nobody. I liked her T-shirt. She's wearing my helmet for the motorcycle, which I rarely drive because I want to live. Okay, but she said simply, I think it says, "I'm not an artist. I'm a muse." Am I reading that backwards? I'm not a muse. I'm an artist. Okay, and she's a sweet little girl. Her name is Gracie, and these kids are in my cottage. I have one little piece of rainbow. That's where I live, and I have an office and a medical room and a kitchen. These girls always want to come in and wear my long shirts and have a picture made in it. So you see them. You see how big I am, I guess, when you see how big those shirts are. But that's they just do that. The older teenage girls, they want a sweater, or they want to pull over a house. "Papa, please give me one." I said, "It's 3 times too big." "Oh, we like them big and loose." They're orphans. They're collectibles. You know, they want something to hold on to, and so I end up taking extra sweaters and stuff with me. Some more pictures of them. This is our mushroom business. We now have 2 big farms going with mushroom farms. And it's amazing how fast we can grow mushroom, and they sell very high. We get 350 rupees per kg. Here we're preparing to grow white shatuk mushroom, and we will grow that. It takes a while to get the preparation ready and plant it, which is what they're doing there at the top picture. And then the next to the top, you see it's hanging there. They've already had the spores injected inside of a little piece of white cotton. And within a few days, mushrooms will come, and it will produce these large mushrooms for 28, 30 days. And then you pull them down, reharvest, put another set up, and grow new. We're selling these very quickly. That money goes into an account that will run this work when it's just an Indian work. We just started doing brown shatuk mushroom, and I was able to get a hold of some spores of Brazilian black mushroom, totally black mushroom from Brazil. If I can get that growing, that will be the only black mushrooms in India. I would probably get 600, 700 per kg. Again, that money will run the work when we're not there. One of the great things about Rainbow Village, and over on the other side, I have much acreage for gardening that we bought years ago. And so during this pandemic, when people were worried about rice or food, we didn't get much rice, but we had all the vegetables we could eat. And so we could take care of ourselves because we can grow 2 crops a year, sometimes 3 crops a year, because we have a year-round growing season. Our soil is very black alluvial soil, and we can grow anything that's of a fruit variety except apple. We're not high enough for apple, but oranges, grapefruit, tangerines, papaya, mango, anything like that. Coconuts, we're getting many coconuts from our coconut trees now. So we're able to feed ourselves, and actually we fed a lot of people around the community with the extra food during the pandemic, which is still going on. Here you can just see some more of the produce and growing. They love pumpkin, thank goodness. They take that pumpkin, dry it out, then chop it up in many pieces and put it in the rice. And as long as they get rice 2 times a day, they're very happy people. And I don't eat rice, so they can have mine. Here the girls having their evening devos. We have them every evening. They have a Bible class in the morning. They have a program at school where they actually receive credit. We call it moral science, because if you say Bible, the Hindus will knock it out. No, we say, no, this is moral science. We're telling them to be honest, good, things like that. I don't know if y'all ever had hobo stew. It seemed like one time we may have done that here years ago, but you know what I'm talking about. Congregations, everyone come and bring a can of something, you dump it in a big pot, and you cook it over an open fire. and it never tastes bad. It always tastes good. We've never done that there, and they were all skeptical about. They were, of course, we don't have cans over there, so everything's fresh coming from gardens. Whatever they brought from their gardens, they brought ready to put into the pot. I bought some chicken cut up and put in the pot, and after our time of fellowship and devotional, and it was time to eat hobo stew, and it was good, delicious, you know. So now this is becoming a tradition over there that we'll do this every fall when the weather turns cool. Here's that's two little girls over there, Gracie, and can't remember the other one, and they're wearing my Georgia hat, I see, and another one of my hats. And then I'm holding Garisa right after she is born. There's a cute little baby. These two girls, these are two of my older ones, Bolingi and Parenti, just graduated class 10. And you see the dresses they made. They asked me in the village, Papa, can we buy 1 meter of cloth? I said, sure. And so they bought, and within a week they have sewn those dresses for themselves by hand. These girls are very talented. They've been sewing by hand for many years since they were a little girl. But now they're moving to the machines, and that type of thing can give them a job. There's always, every town has many seamstresses. And so you see, here's our church services going on. We have no room for all of us to be together. Our Bible classes are separated outside. During September, October, November, December, and January, it's the dry season, no problem. But come February all the way through August, we move through the heavy rains, monsoon rains, and you can't do this. It's just too much rain. And here they're having class. This is actually my big medical room. I moved everything aside so that we can have a class on Sunday morning. This is the reason I'm building this building right here. It's the last building I will build. It's a very big one. It will hold 500 people with a stage, a baptistry, the very first baptistry we'll have sitting on the back there, and a library in the upper right holding maybe 4,000 religious books that we have sent over the years. And so that's my last project. With that, the whole school can meet together during the rainy season, and we can meet together for performances on the stage. It will be the place we worship on Sunday. And so it's a very vital building that I hope that you might help me a little bit to build on that. Medical missions, of course, the pandemic has shut down moving to any villages doing medical work. I tried to take 6 girls about 10 weeks ago to Calcutta for surgery they must have. 2 of them must have ear surgery or they'll lose their hearing in those other 2 ears. First 2 ears I operated on last year. But when I got there, Modi, I should call him Prime Minister Modi, but he has stopped all international credit cards. And that's all I had on me. I usually pay everything through international credit cards. And so I could not get surgery for these girls. And so I have to try to take them again when I go back this coming Friday. I should be back in Delhi at some time. Hopefully I can get the funds done to have surgery on these children. These are some of the family we're helping during the pandemic, close villages. You see their simple house. They're right across the street from our school. Some of the kids we allow to come to school free of charge because we want to be in good relationship with our community so that we can teach them the gospel. Here's much food we're gathering and getting ready to hand out to people in the villages. And here's a big distribution of rice we're doing in a village. They eat much rice. And this is one of my little blind girls. I took over a lot of the audio Bibles on tape so they could listen, and they really enjoyed listening to the Bible as they walk around and things like that. And so I appreciate those who do this. This is Sucramoni. I've had her with me maybe 10 years, 11 years. On the left, you remember her story. Her mother died. Her grandmother didn't want to raise her, so her grandmother poured kerosene all over her, set her afire to try to burn her to death. But an ant heard this going on and ran in and put the fire out. But by then, so much damage had been done to Sucramoni's body. As you see there in that picture, she's probably 7 or 8 years old. And here you see her, this picture is about 2 months old, and she still has many terrible features on her face. We've done the best we can with her. And I hope that somehow we'll be able to train her, that we can use her in our work at school, maybe with preschool or perhaps a seamstress sewing for the kids, always sewing when you have these many children. So keep her in your prayers. This is Calcutta, the one that used to be the largest city on earth. It's number 3 on earth now. It's a city close to my heart because I've spent a good bit of time there trying to do work among the street children. Over 1 million kids live on the street. They have nobody. They don't have any relatives. They live and beg on the street from 4 and 5 years old and up. And so it's a place that needs help. As far as I know, there's not even a Church of Christ in this city of 23 million people. There's been 2 at one time in the past. Both of them the Hindi congregation, the preacher died, no one was able to pick it up, and the small English congregation dissolved. That big bridge you see there is a Howard Bridge. Ugly River flows under. That's the busiest bridge on earth. Every day, 1 million people cross over that bridge. That's just hard to believe. 1 million people walk every day or drive every day over the bridge. And I sometimes wonder how many of them have ever heard the gospel of Jesus Christ. Someone let me know when I run out of time. This is some pictures showing the Ugly River and where the people have to bathe. If you live on the streets, you go to the river to bathe. The government puts some of those taps where you can sit there and bathe on the street, and that's what they have to do. I'm hitting the wrong button. This is a family on the street in Calcutta. If you look carefully, they right on the street, they have taken plastic, pieces of tin and cardboard and paper, and have built them a little building right there that this whole family lives inside that little bitty opening you see there. But if you look at that family, they seem pretty happy, don't they? You know, great-grandmama, grandmama, probably 2 mothers and children and grandchildren gathered there. The little boy there, you can see the blonding on the top of his head, which shows that he's very vitamin deficient. If dark hair turns blonde, it means you don't have the vitamins in your body that you need to have. These girls, when I took to Calcutta, there's a Hard Rock Cafe there. I'm sure most of you have been to a Hard Rock somewhere. I've been to about 12 of them in the world, I guess, but I like their hamburgers. And so I took these girls, they'd never been in a big city, first time, never even heard of Hard Rock. So I took them there and bought them whatever they wanted to eat, and then I got them this one ice cream to share. They couldn't believe ice cream could be that big. Neither could I. But the next day I said, okay, now yesterday we went to Hard Rock, you saw good food in a good place. Today we're going to go feed some poor people. And right across the street from the hotel we're staying in, this is what you see out the window. These very poor families live here on the street. They gather paper, plastic, aluminum, glass from the city, collect it, and sell it for a few rupees to people who come by and buy it by the bagful to process it. And that's the way these families over there try to make a living. We went and bought some candy and some fruit juices and some play balls and loaded the trunk of that yellow taxi there with that, and then pulled there and opened the taxis, and the taxi went over and said, we're foreigners. They said, the foreigners have things for you. Okay? And so here we are taking care of them, giving them things out of the trunk of the car, and it was just such a good experience for my children. When we got back to the school and I was doing Devo, I said, now I had 6 girls with me in Calcutta, and I said, I want each of you to rise and tell me what was the most favorite thing about your trip to Calcutta, besides the surgery attempts. Every one of them, without fail, said that this was their favorite thing to do, benevolence. And that's what I wanted them to learn. While we may have some good things in life, never forget, so many people need our help. And so you be a benevolent person. And so that's taking place here. This is in Santo Domingo, where I'm trying to think about beginning to do a work in the Dominican Republic. There was about, I don't know how many of these kids, they have a home probably. They live and play on the street. And I could tell they were very hungry, so I asked, there's a church building there. I forgot what denomination it was. I said, can I use your building to bring children in? I'd like to give them some ice cream or candy if they want some. Well, they didn't want candy or ice cream. They wanted mayonnaise sandwich. I said, mayonnaise sandwich? But that was a big treat to them. But in this case, I got them a piece of cheese and a slice of ham put on it too. So you see how happy they are with this sandwich we gave. This could be a great work in that area if we decide to go in that direction. Here's a family that's never had a bed. They slept on the floor, never had a refrigerator. And when I saw that need, we just took care of that need. The Bible sort of teaches us when you see a need, meet the need, and we try to do that. This is Law. He's been with me for a long time. He's ran my school. He's run my Bible programs. Now he runs Antioch Press. And the Antioch Press, we're printing Bibles and tracts and songbooks and much stuff free of charge to give to anyone in India who wants religious tracts, primarily to our preachers to give out in the jungle villages. You might remember good brother J.C. Choate, who passed away maybe 10 years ago now. His wife Betty still lives in Alabama, but he did this work for 50 years in Delhi, and when he passed away, no one else was doing it, so I decided to open up Antioch Press. This is in the city of Guwahati, maybe 8 million people, and it's the capital of Assam. And so through this, Law is selling business things to the business owners to support his personal income. And then on the religious side, I'm raising funds to print our Bibles, tracts that we're giving out. So this is going to be a work that will, I hope, go on for many, many years. Examples of some of the things that we're printing, and one on the left is in Hindi, and that's just a little thing I wrote on restoration to the right. This is one of our good preachers who went through my preaching school, preaching 10 years, and he preaches, that's a new building we built for him, just a bamboo building. And he's growing a very good church, about 90 members, probably 10 kilometers away from my work, doing an excellent job. This is one of my local preachers who helps me at my school in teaching Bible classes, but he's always teaching. He's teaching a Buddhist couple. That Buddhist man is my security guard. And so we hope that those who come to work, and I hire Buddhist, I hire Hindu, not in religious settings, but in work settings, but our goal is to bring them to Christ. And as last week, those two were baptized. Okay. I'll leave you with this tract. You know, the Bible says an awful lot about remembering your Creator in the days of your youth. We know how impressionable and moldable children are. That's why they're in the hands of a mother and a father for a long time. And that's why we have this school. We want these kids coming up knowing the Bible, not knowing the Koran, not knowing the Bhagavad Gita, but knowing God's Word. You know, that's our goal, and this good congregation has been helping me get this done for a very, very long time. These two young ladies, Gracie and Milici, was baptized by NG just 2 weeks ago. I think that baptism took place. So we're always, as our kids get a certain age and want to be baptized, then we baptize them into Christ. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, then maybe after our sermon we can talk. Thank you. Thank you so much.